tonight is a talented actor you know from his work in The Odyssey, Uncharted, and Cherry. He returns as Peter Parker in the highly anticipated Spider-Man Brand New Day, which, wait for it, swings into theaters Friday, July 31st. Let's take a look.
What process? Hey, whoa, what the hell, man? Huh. It's gonna be like that. You wanna go? All right, well, just give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm not in high school anymore. Oh. Did you stretch? You a big stretcher? I mean, you should do in your line of work. What about you? You guys stretch? It's so good for you. Oh. You ready? Watch your head!
Please welcome back to the show one of our favorites, Tom Holland, everybody!
Thank you. It's so good to be back.
Are you happy with life right now? It feels like a very exciting time to be Tom Holland.
Oh, dude, I'm living the dream right now, pal. You know, we have Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I'm so unbelievably proud of the movie, and there's so much to be excited about. The movie feels fresh and new and unique, and it's the first time that I've been allowed into the writer's room. So I really feel like there's a fingerprint of myself on the movie, and I'm really honored to be throwing it out there, and I think people are gonna love it.
I know you've been doing it. Deservedly so. I know you've been doing it for a while, but you're still a young man, and when I was watching Spider-Man do all that stretching, I was like, I feel like that's how I'd have to approach it as Spider-Man.
Do you know what? It was a real kick in the nuts, actually, because I started making these movies when I was 18, and I could fall from the wires and bounce back up and come to work the next day, and it was a bit of a reality check for me. You know?
So is that what you were doing in the writer's room? You're like, maybe just less jumping. I think maybe this one, what if he solves crimes with his brain?
Yeah, exactly. And then they were like, no one will believe that you could use your brain, Tom.
Very unkind.
But no, that joke actually was something that we came up with on the day, because every stunt scene would be delayed by this 10-minute stretching sequence that I would have to do myself.
Oh, fantastic.
And then we were on set one day, and we had these amazing background actors that just were really kind of bringing a lot to the scene. And then Destin and I were like, well, what if we added this like whole stretching bit? And then there's actually a shot that's not in the movie where we put my stunt double in the suit and he did the splits and it would cut in. But it was too much. It was too much.
I have to say, I applaud the fact that obviously so much goes into these movies in this universe, right? And the planning. And the fact that on the day, you guys are plugged in enough to sort of add something you come up with in real time, because it's so funny and it's so great. And I think it's one of the things that it really adds to this film. And by the way, the fourth Spider-Man film was not guaranteed. Like, was it something where you knew it had to be worth it in order to get the suit back on?
Yeah, I've always felt a great sense of responsibility when it comes to the fans of Spider-Man. You know, they've been so kind to me over the years, and I felt so lucky to have had the experience I had on the third Spider-Man movie. You know, I got to share the screen with Tobey and Andrew, and it really felt like the kind of perfect signing off for me. So for me to come back and do it again, I really wanted to make sure that what we did was exactly what the fans wanted. And I spent ages online just watching podcasts and looking at what people wanted, what they didn't like. There's a lot of what they don't like.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, and you're telling me... And now slow down, and you're telling me they're willing to share this on podcasts?
Oh, yes.
Wow, all right.
There's
well, that's
some
interesting.
things out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so coming back and donning the suit again, you know, it felt like the responsibility had gotten greater because there was a decision to be made. When I was 18 years old, I signed on to play this character. It completely flipped my life upside down, and it was the most glorious roller coaster of all time. And then there was the question of, like, should I get back on the roller coaster? And I'm so glad I did.
I'm so glad you did as well. We have something in common. I spend a lot of my day, like, watching YouTube and podcasts on Spider-Man content, and
Right.
My wife is less patient about it. I think because I'm not in the film or connected to it in any way, she feels like it's a waste of time.
Yeah, my wife is in the film.
Yeah, so that helps.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations on that as well. The Odyssey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
One of your co-stars, John Bernthal.
Yeah, my
both
dear
in The
friend.
Odyssey, and here he is, Punisher in the film. And you've known John forever.
I've known John since I was 17 years old, and the beautiful thing about this movie is that we did each other's audition tapes for these characters.
Back when you were 17 years old?
Yeah, so I was 17, we were shooting a movie in Ireland, and I asked John if he would help me with my Spider-Man audition. And I owe a lot to John because I wouldn't describe myself as a show-off. And when I did my audition, I did the very modest version of what it was. And he knew that I could do all of these backflips and stuff. And he was like, dog, like, what are you doing, man? Like, you gotta do the flip, bro. You gotta flip into the scene. So for me, like, I really think that he helped me get this part because he just encouraged me to show off, I guess.
It's really nice to hear. It's also very funny to overthink a Spider-Man audition so much as to not do the flip. Like,
Yeah.
I will say, like, with my limited interactions with John, he seems like a guy who would just, like, force you to do to run towards your strengths, and you're very lucky.
Yeah, something I love is that John always wears the same boots. Like, he loves these, like, kind of army boots, and in my audition, I, like, fake web off the camera, and I pull something, and he obviously threw his boot at me from behind the camera, and you see me catch, like, the legendary John Bernthal boot.
That's fantastic. Also, I heard, again, these are big movies. Odyssey,
Yep.
This is a big movie. Giant crew. They all do incredible work. And very kind, you got a crew gift for everyone. Was it well received?
No.
Okay.
I bought everyone these beanie hats.
Okay.
And it had Spider-Man embroidered across the front of it. But I had ordered kid sizes by accident.
Okay.
And my favorite thing is we have a legendary sound mixer on our film, a guy called John Casali.
Yeah.
Really good guy. And he came up to me with this hat on. And it's like literally like squeezing his brain. And he was like, can you believe the cheek of the studio? They're so cheap. They bought us these tiny little kids' hats. And I obviously start laughing, and the more I start laughing, the more he's like leaning into this bit. Yeah. And he's like, the disrespect is outrageous. And then eventually I said, John, I bought you that hat. And you just saw the colour drain from his face.
He would have pulled it over his face if it was big enough.
Yeah, just to about here.
You talk about being in the writer's room as well, but I assume that, again, these things are top secret. Like, do you remember when you first got the script for this last version?
Oh, yes. It's a bit of, yes.
Yeah.
I was shooting The Odyssey. I was working with Chris Nolan, and I was blessed with probably one of the best scripts ever written.
Yeah.
And I kept blowing up the studio to say, like, guys, can I get the Spider-Man script? Because we're starting shooting in weeks.
Yeah.
Right? And they keep telling me, it's not ready, it's not ready. We'll send it to you when it's ready. And my brother Paddy worked on the film in the art department.
Uh-huh.
And he called me up one day and he was like, bro, the script is so good. I was like, what are you talking about? The script is so good. And he goes, I just sat in the studio, everyone's read the script, everyone loves it. And I'd been told that there wasn't even a script at this point. But yeah, no, we read it and, we had amazing writers and they did such a good job. What they've done so well, I think, with this film is they've really found a way to make the film about Peter Parker.
Yeah.
It's the stakes to the film have never been higher. The mystery of who the villain is really kind of brings this new flavor to the film. And I'm so proud of everyone that's involved.
Well, congratulations. I want to close one last thing. And I'm not trying to like schedule your life. I want you to get a break. You deserve one.
Thank you.
You were on my friend Amy Poehler's podcast, Good Hang.
Yes, that's right. I had a
She
great
was
time.
trying to encourage you to host SNL. You were hesitant to take this on. I just want to echo her instinct that I think you'd be great at it.
Well, thank you.
I just want to throw it out there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's the cue cards for
Right.
me.
Yep.
It's the idea. Like I'm really dyslexic.
Yep.
And I find reading. That's not funny, guys.
Yeah. I think maybe the way I said "yep" was
Yeah.
funny. I didn't mean it like
That's
no.
fine. That
It's
is funny.
obvious. It's weird. I can tell just by talking to you.
Yeah. And there's something about reading out loud that would just really stress me out. And I tell you what was so funny is when we were on the movie, Destin said the same thing to me. I told him about this fear that I had, and he was like, "You have to do it. You have to do it." And at the beginning of the press tour, I said to the Sony marketing team, who have done such an amazing job on this tour, I really am so grateful to them. I said, "I'm ready to host SNL." And then they were like, "They're dark during the summer." So, thank God.
That's Wally over there. He'd take
Hey,
good
Wally,
care
how
of
you
you
doing?
if the time comes. He's the cue card guy. Whatever you need, buddy. Congrats on everything.
Hey, man, thank you
It's
so
the best
much.
to see you guys. That's Tom Holland, Spider-Man, brand new day. In theaters everywhere, Friday, July 31st.